Hi, it's Ingrid, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I will be showing you my summer TBR. I've picked out 15 books that I would like to read this summer. I am on summer break. It's currently May 25th and I don't think I'm going back to school until August 12th, at least around that time. So I'm hoping to read a lot this summer, and these are the ones that I'm really hoping to get to this summer. Most of them, well, not actually, like half of them are romances. I have some mysteries, fantasy. I'm going to start with all of the romances that I really want to read this summer. Like everyone else, summer just is the perfect time to read romance books. So the first one I have here is Flawless by Elsie Silver, the first book in the Chestnut Spring series. I've never read an Elsie Silver book, but I've owned this for so long now. I bought the entire series when it like blew up on BookTube, but that's where I saw it. Everyone was reading them and I bought the first 4 books. So I'm really hoping to read this summer. It's a cowboy romance. I don't know exactly what it's about, but I think the main character is a bull rider who gets in trouble with his agent. So he sends his daughter to like babysit him. And he's like, I don't need a babysitter, but she has to follow him around and they fall in love. I don't really know much more than that and I want to keep it that way. But that is book number 1 that I would like to read this summer. The next book is also a cowboy romance. That is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This one I actually know nothing about, but I know the covers are beautiful and the second book just came out. So I'm hoping to get to this one pretty soon. It's very short and I like to have a short book every now and then. Should I figure out what it's about? Brother's best friend, small town romance. So it seems like the female main character was like a horse rider, but then she got injured so she couldn't do that anymore, and she moved back to her small town where she meets her brother's best friend again and they fall in love trying to stay away from each other. This is what I got from the back here. It says she's off limits but he's never been good at following the rules. So I think I'm really gonna enjoy this one. The next book I want to talk about is by an author that is extremely well loved. I don't think I've ever seen anyone give a bad review to one of her books. That is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This one, I don't know. I know. I forget. I mix up the storyline of this and Funny Story all the time. But this is about a guy who feels like he's always the person before a person finds their true love. Like he's with someone, then they break up, and then she falls in, like finds her soulmate, and then he posts that on Reddit, and then the other girl, Emma, sees that, reaches out to him because she's in the same boat, like the same thing happens to her, and then they like start dating to cancel each other out. So when they break up, they're gonna go and find their true love. I'm very excited, but I have never read an Abby Jimenez book and I know that everyone loves her, so I'm really excited to see what I think, and I feel like it's the perfect summer read. Next I have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I read Beach Read this year and I fell in love. That was the first Emily Henry book I read. This one I have owned for like 2 years now, never picked it up, but since I loved Beach Read so much, it's perfect timing to like go to the next one. And it's summer. I feel like Beach Read was really giving summer vibes, so I'm hoping this one does too. I don't know what this one is about. Nora is a literary agent and Charlie is an editor. It seems like she never finds the one. She's also the one before the one. So her sister tells her to go on a holiday to Sunshine Falls, where she keeps bumping into Charlie. I'm very excited. Don't know much more than that, and since the back doesn't tell me much, I don't want to Google it. I don't want to listen to other people talk too much about the book until I get my own opinion of it. Then I have The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I know that a lot of people love her books as well. I've heard a lot about When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect. Not too much about this one, but if I remember correctly, this one is about an NFL player and his best friend, where his best friend like accidentally spills her secrets or something about her crush on him to the world, and then they end up fake dating. That's about what I know. The sequel kind of to this just came out. It's like a standalone series and I bought that. So I want to read that, but before I do that I need to read this one because I like reading them in order. But it's a short romance, and I've heard that her writing is really good, and it's a quick read, which is perfect. And I'm very excited to finally pick up one of her books. This next book is something I'm really excited for. I have really became obsessed with this recently. I have An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn. I very recently read the second book in the series, The Viscount Who Loved Me, and that is one of my favorite books. I fell in love with Anthony Bridgerton, and after doing that I wanted to watch the show. So I did, and I fell in love even more. But in the show, Anthony is not my favorite. Benedict is, and this is Benedict's book. So this is book 3 in the Bridgerton series about the Bridgerton family, and you follow them along as they get married, and you see their lives and their interactions and all of their relationships with both their family, friends, and eventually their significant other. I'm very excited for Benedict's book. I'm a little scared because I've heard that he's very different in the show than in the book, but I'm also very excited to see, because I loved the second book. I'm very excited. I think he falls in love with someone who isn't part of the society. It's giving Cinderella, like the background here. It's explaining the plot of Cinderella. So I'm very excited. And I love Benedict, and I'm very excited to read this book. I want to read the rest of the series too. I think I'm probably going to read Colin and Penelope's book this summer as well, but I'm not going to put it on my TBR because I just want to keep one book from each series. Then I have Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. I have loved every single Lynn Painter book. I think I've given all of them 5 stars, possibly 4.5, 4.75, but I'm really obsessed with her writing. This is another one of her adult romances, and in this one I think the male main character, gets hired to object at weddings, and then the female main character hires him to object at her wedding because she doesn't want to be with the person she's with. After she starts working with him, and then they work the wedding of a girl that Max used to love, and then Sophie gets jealous because he shows some feelings for her. That's interesting. Now I'm actually excited. I wasn't too excited because I just don't like the whole being able to object to people's weddings. Like, the only people who should be able to decide is the 2 people getting married. No one else should have a say in that. I think it's stupid. So I haven't wanted to pick up the book, but I love Lynn Painter, and this one seems very interesting. I think this is the last romance I have. The others have romance in them, but I don't know if I should classify them as romances. I don't really know. But I have Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. Never read a Tessa Bailey book either, which is crazy. Like, there's a lot of authors that are really popular that I've somehow never read, but I think it's time. And this one is about a fangirl, which I love. He's a golfer. I don't know much more than that. I think she's like always supported him, and now it doesn't go very well for him, but he hires her to do something. I don't really know, but then they fall in love. I don't need to know much more than that, but I'm excited to read it. This next one is, I think it is a romance, but it's not like the normal type of romance. This is a Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. It's about 2 serial killers who falls in love. I don't really know. I don't think I want to know much more, so I'm not going to tell you the plot of it because I don't know. I've never looked at the back, and I don't think I'm ever going to. I might have at some point, but I don't remember it, and I would like to go into this one completely blind. And I'm probably going to pick this one up very soon, so I'm going to put that in a vlog. I'm very excited, and I hope you are too. Let's move on. This next one, I wasn't actually planning on reading that this summer, but that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. And the reason that I put it on my summer TBR is because the movies get taken off of Netflix June 11th, at least the first 2. And I want to read the books before I watch the movies. So if I'm going to watch the movies, I need to read the books now. So hopefully, I'm not completely sure because like I don't want to read it right now. But, like, everyone knows what The Hunger Games is about, so I'm not gonna go too much into that, but I'm probably gonna read it this summer because I want to watch the movies. This next book is extremely popular. It went like extremely viral. Everyone loves it. and I got it for Christmas in my stocking, and I started reading it, but then I just stopped. I don't know why. I read like the first chapter, but that is Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and the sequel is coming out in July, and I want to read this one before that. And this, I just have to do it. I think in this one, society is like split into the elites and ordinaries, and the female main character in this, what's her name, Peyton, she's an ordinary pretending to be an elite, and then she ends up meeting the prince somehow, and I think there's a love story, but I'm not completely sure. But she ends up competing in this trial where she has to fight other people, but like I said, she's an ordinary, she doesn't really have these powers. So I'm very excited to see like how the dynamic between all the characters, how she figures all of this out. I know that everyone loves it, so I'm very excited. Like, a lot of people have this as their favorite book, so I think I'm gonna love it. It's just that I have to actually sit down and read it, but I'm gonna do that this summer, I promise. Do I promise? Yes, I promise, kind of. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I liked the first book and I really loved the second book, and I want to continue the series. I would like to finish the series by the end of the year, preferably by the end of summer. Like, this one is going to happen, and then if I read this one, I'm gonna read the next one. Silver Flames, not completely sure, but I would like to finish it off by the end of the year so I can start Throne of Glass next year. But this one, I'm not gonna talk about like the storyline of this, because it's gonna spoil the others. But this follows Feyre, who, the series, who kills a wolf who turns out to be a fairy. So she's like gets taken to the fairylands where she meets other fairies and she has to do things. And I'm not going to say much more because I don't want to spoil anything, because I feel like this is a fun series to go into blind. I didn't expect to love it, actually. I didn't think it was like for me, but the second book, that's for possibly top 3 books ever. So I'm really excited to continue. Like, after finishing that one, I really wanted to continue. It's just that it's very thick, and that scares me, even though it shouldn't, because I read Akhomov very quickly, so this one shouldn't be much of a problem either. So this summer, I know that fantasy isn't the genre people want to read in the summer, but I don't care. I want to read it. Next up, I have 2 mysteries. I have The Cousins and Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus. I would like to finish off my Karen M. McManus collection so that I can buy the rest of her books. I don't know if she has many more. I know she has at least one more that I don't own that I would like to buy. And I really like her books. I like her writing. I have read 4 of her books, loved 3 of them. One of them was fine, but I'm excited for these ones. I don't know exactly what they're about. I don't think I'm gonna get into that right now, but I like her writing, and mystery is one of my favorite genres, especially YA mystery, so I'm very excited to read these. The last book I have to talk about is very intimidating. It's very big and it's very well loved, and it's a little scary to get into, but that is Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. I absolutely loved Magnolia Parks, but I feel like it takes a lot to get through. I could not read that one in one sitting. I think I spent months getting through that one because it was messing with my head. The heartbreak and betrayal and all of the feelings I felt reading that, insane. I know that a lot of people doesn't like that series because of some of the things going on, but I loved it. Obsessed. But I'm just so scared of getting into this. But I think it's time. I would like to read more of the books this year, so I'm hoping to get through this one pretty soon. Now that I'm holding it, I really want to read it, so I think I'm going to read this one in June. Some of these obviously have to read in July and August, but I think this is going to be a June book. Not completely sure, but I want to. This whole universe consists of Magnolia Parks books and Daisy Hates books, and they're kind of about like the London elite. They're rich people Gossip Girl in Britain. I don't know if that's a good explanation, because I didn't like Gossip Girl. I quit after episode 7. It's not for me, but I love the books, so I like it. Very excited. But that is my summer TBR. I'm hoping to get through all of them. I think it's doable. And hopefully I like them. I have really high hopes to all of these books. I have some 5-star predictions in there. So that's it for this video. Please let me know what books are on your TBR. I think that would be fun. And if you've read any of these, let me know what you think. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace out, lovers.